Hey friends, Happy New Year if I haven't spoken or seen you in the last 18 days. It's my first day back. I've had a few weeks off on holidays and just enjoying the beautiful summer weather we've had. And I thought I'd better get back to cooking. So I've got a few things that I'm making this afternoon and I was just going to whip that up for dinner. I've got a basil pesto dip. And I'm also doing one of my raw slices. So yeah, I've made a bit of dinner and I'm going to reheat, tell you about that after. But I'm just going to do these two things pretty simply and thought I'd share it with you. So let me just drop you down here. Now I've got my trusty 31. Hello to all my 31 customers. It's an amazing appliance. I've had this one for 11 years now. Been great, and I love it for all the chopping, cutting, blending, all those things I can just throw in with my manual recipes that I know how to do. However, I must declare that the TM6 is the best Thermomix ever made, and with that we can follow a recipe, which is what I love. You know, it's just easy when you don't have to go back and forward to recipe books, but I would never give it up. I've also got my TM5, which lives in between. So whatever machine you're using today, you'll be able to do these. Just will vary as to whether you can follow the recipe on the screen or whether you need to just cancel out that recipe, whatever I was doing there. So let's start with this simple basil dip. Actually, no, I'm going to get, that's right, I hadn't really thought through this. I was just about to start, but oh, let's do this online. Give you a video. What I've got here is coconut bark, and this is something that I just make with shredded coconut. Throw it in the Thermomix. You can apply some heat, so you can put 37 degrees. Scrape it down. It might take you between 2 to 4 minutes. I've poured this out on a paper, baking paper, pressed it out and topped it with stuff. Now, I can eat this for a couple of weeks, and as it's just coconut and in the fridge, it can last for ages, but I do get over it. So I've just thrown this. This is just broken up bark. It's been sitting there for a couple of weeks. It has had some toppings on it, so it had some cranberries and some almonds. So it's the few little bits of colour that you'll see through this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with my 31, I think. Actually, no, I'm going to do my chocolate in there. So just going to basically chop this back down and turn this into a filling. So I'm going to make a cranberry slice and use up. So there's never waste in the Thermomix. This would have just sat there. I made some gifts, a few extra batches over Christmas, and then you get over it. So just make sure it's not too chunky if you had something you wanted to beat down. I mean, alternatively, you can make this coconut butter, pour it in jars, and then if I started from scratch with this recipe now, I just take it out of my coconut butter jar, which is not a bad idea. So let's just chop that. Give that for about 20-30 seconds. You can usually hear, and it's done the chop up when it's ready. Okay, so that's all just milled down. There's a little, yeah, it's just coconut, a little bit of sweetener in there, and of course the whatever toppings was still left on my bark. So I'm just going to add a little bit more vanilla to that. Probably had a bit to start with. And usually coconut in itself has got a bit of sweetness, so you might not need to do this, but I'm just going to add probably a couple of tablespoons of, you can do honey, rice malt syrup, or maple. And then the next thing we need, because this is going to turn it into, of course, a bit more of a filling, is probably about a half a cup. Let's bring up the scales. I do a lot of guesstimation, and that works, but for you who like to have some idea, we're going to do around about the 100. This is just going to bring it together, about 100 grams. Blend that in. Yeah, probably 10 seconds will do it. So it's just going to go nice and pasty. And I'm calling this my cranberry slice. I've done it with cherries. Cherries are a little bit more expensive. I usually get these ones. I get most good health food shops will do the, or what brand's that? That's Dr. Superfoods. I've got another one here. Oh yeah, same thing, different packaging. It's good. These just were really nice and plump and whole. Have a look at this. Nice little fellas. Just going to pop, I'd say roughly around a half a cup. You might want to give or take, depends how much coconut you've started with, coconut bark. I've got probably a good 2 cups there, which is just perfect for a good serving of this. Alright, just want to pop it on reverse. Give that a bit of a mix through. We don't want to break it up too much. Now you can use a little slice tin if you want to do it thinly in a nice long slice tin. You can do it in more of this kind of a base, which will bring it up nice and high. So I'm going to cut these into, just for something different, cut these into more of a fatter slice, kind of a word. And I look at that and I think, let me have a taste. Always do the taste, Jess. That's fine. I was thinking it might not have had enough cherry flavour to it. But it does, and if you want to keep this cost down a little, that's why I've got the cranberries, because I think I only paid $6 for the cranberries, and the dried cherries were twice the price. So of course you've got your coconut oil in this, that's what's going to do harden up in the fridge. I'm just going to press that in there. And what I like, if you work it out properly, you can use your container without washing it. Which is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to make my chocolate. And that's just with cacao butter, cacao powder and a sweetener. And you could just use a dark chocolate block if you've got it. Mill it down in your Thermomix and then melt it down around 37 or 50 degrees. And you've got your temper it. You can add a little bit of vanilla, sweeten it up a little bit if you want to, and then away you go. Pour it out, either make it a bark, or what I'm going to do is then top this. So I'll press that out and show you that again in a minute. Let's do the chocolate. So as I said, it's just raw cacao, buttons. These actually have a little bit of sweetness in it, so I won't need to add any sweetener. I'll just bring up my scales. Actually, there is a recipe. I will show you that because I do a lot of it on my own. Just throw in this and throw in that. What's it called? All right, it's one of my recipes, one of my created collections. Under chocolate, of course. Everyone's got to have a chocolate folder. Let's take a peek. Okay, here it is, raw chocolate snaps. So this is basically just doing a bark, and it's making it from scratch, so it's not melting down your raw chocolate. So grease your pan. Okay, told me to thoroughly clean my, and I haven't had any issue with it. Seeing that's just coconut that's in there. Let's weigh in. Skipped a step. All right, it's 200 grams. This is going to do a big lot serving, so we don't need that much. So I'm just going to do half that. Do about 100. Okay, we just chop it down. It's half the quantity, so it won't take as long. Okay, there's your white cacao butter chopped down. Be sure to give it a stir because obviously it'll be all stuck, and lift it from the bottom too. That's a few extra ingredients in there, so make sure that it's going to combine. Scrape down. Okay, it's going to melt down now for 10 minutes. We won't need that long, so I'll just get it started and I'll take a peek, stop it when we don't need to. So if you haven't before, you can park a recipe. So just by hitting a home screen, my finger's now sticky, it will park the recipe and it'll allow me to keep searching. So what I'm going to do is a basil pesto dip and do it in my 31 over here. And I've actually got that in my folders. Let's have a look. Let's have a look what's in recently cooked, because I did look at that the other night. There it is. Alright, chunky basil pesto dip. How easy is that? Alright, so I'm just going to have a look at the ingredients because I can do it on my 31 and read it off my 6. So I find that very handy if you've got the 2, or if you've got a 31 and you're looking at upgrading, don't get rid of your 31 because this is where it comes in handy. We can do both recipes. So it starts off with 50 grams of parmesan, which I've already milled. I just do a block and keep it in the fridge, so that's set aside. 1 clove of garlic, and we're going to grate that. So 1 part clove going in now. Stop it with a button. Ha ha. Alright. 1 clove. Give that a scrape down. Alright, so that would have been done and ground up with the parmesan. So now I'm just going to add the parmesan, which is 50 grams on top. You could also make this dairy-free and add some nutritional yeast flakes. I've often done that. I do love my parmesan. Alright, next is adding 40 grams of basil leaves, and it's got 20 grams of flat leaf parsley, which I don't have, so I'll just add around about the 50-60 grams of herbs. Now, they're quite light, so it's a lot of herbs, and I've just picked these out of my garden, washed them, and I'm just going to go with whatever's here. It might be a little bit on the lighter side. And like, I don't sit and peel every single stem. I take the woody bits out. But there's plenty of flavour and there's plenty of nutrition in those light stems when they're just a little bit light. So let's just pop that in there. It's good. We could take it up to about 110. Look at that. Coming close to what we need anyway. Remaining ingredients. I was going to, I sometimes do like to chop that down just quickly, just a quick second, just because I've got the stems in there. See anything so quick? 1 second. Alright, now we want our cashews. So these are just raw cashews, and we want around about 160 grams in there. And we want some extra virgin olive oil, 60 grams of olive oil. And we want a tablespoon of vinegar, so this just gives a little bit of the kick. Now I love making these dips. I can't believe that I still talk to customers who are still buying $3 and $4 dips when you can make it in the Thermomix for half the price and double the quantity. So I'm just going to put it on block bowl. You haven't seen with anyone before. And this is called pulse. And a couple of pulses like that should be close enough. Alright, if you want it still to remain chunky, two pulses is fine. Let's just give it one more whirl. Now, those of you who have a 31, you can definitely get the TM6 measuring cup to fit in there. It's great because you don't have to hold it. Watch Parmesan doesn't cause it to shoot up. And they're available on the mixer. Okay. There you go, one basil chunky dip. Smells amazing. And all the ingredients come from my garden, so the herbs are the thing you want to grow. Save you $3 each time when you're in the shop. Alright, so we are going to check on this. It's been halfway, 5 minutes. Still nice and thick, so let's just kick it up. Of course it actually is sweetened cacao buttons. It has a little bit more already added to it, so we'll give that, take that up to 45. It's come out of the, well, it didn't come out of the fridge, but you know, that can all change up the timing that it takes to melt and temper your chocolate. Alright, so I'm going to do another bowl there. I'm going to do the chocolate, and that will go in over the top of my slice here. Just pour it in on top. Once that's completed, I've got my best Basil Pesto sauce. Can be used as a dip, and then I can also thin it out and create a nice little sauce to pasta or zucchini pasta. So I've got some zucchinis here tonight. I did made some great bolognese sauce. There's quite a few recipes that we have to choose from on the Cookie Do platform. And I made that up over the weekend for our grandbabies, and we just never got around to it. We had a party and we ate out, and so the bonus to knocking up a dish in the Thermomix ahead of time means, like, on a night like this, I can go, oh, dinner's made. So I've got that ready. I've got my jug loaded. I made that, threw it in the fridge. That's the beauty of having a second jug. Been in the fridge, and I'm going to take it out and reheat it now. So I've already got the meat's in there, so I will just put it on reverse and do it nice and slow. I don't mind it coming down a little finer. If you don't like your minced meat on your bolognese, it's fine. Then I suggest you try and invest, if you can, get your blade cover. That's on the Mix It shop now, and it's a handy little thing to go in. Reheating a larger quantity, it works well because you can get the don't lose the integrity of the meat. So what I'll do is pop that on tonight to warm up for dinner, and I'll throw in my Veroma these zucchini noodles on top. Also got a spiralizer, but by the time it takes to get out the cupboard and wash it up again, I quite enjoy these tagliatelle veggies. You can do this to carrots. You can do a mixture if you wanted to. So if you haven't done that, it's a great gluten-free alternative instead of having your pasta. That's just going to sit in on top of my Veroma tonight as I do my bolognese. So let's take a look how we're going here. Alright, we're still because it's only a small quantity, I went half the recipe. I might just do a bit of a shortcut for the sake of time. And now we're just going to pop in alright, I'm going to do around about 25 grams because we're halving the recipe. The key to working with cacao powder is just know your brands, because there's something like 400 varieties of chocolate bean, and you may get a really strong one and sometimes it might be really weak. So you know that will be the difference in overpowering, making it too heavy and dark. If you've got a darker one, that's what you need to know. Otherwise you have a bit of a taste test after you've done it, and hopefully get a bit of honey. Look, that has a bit of sweetener in it, but we'll add a bit of honey. I will show you a little trick that I do to this as well, to this recipe, and that's just adding a little bit of coconut oil. Coconut oil and coconut butter can be interchanged in raw desserts because this is really what makes the chocolate go hard and set. But you wouldn't want to use coconut oil if you were going to travel with it, because it does, of course, on a day like this start to melt. It was quite liquidy to start, as you know. It gets solid as it gets cooler. So there you go, I've just got my chocolate melting. That's going to end up going in on top of my cherry ripe. Don't know where to look, I'm sorry, I've turned my phone over. You get better at this as you go. So let me just tell you, this month is January, a very special month with our Thermomix kicking off the year with a great promotion. If you purchase your Thermomix in January, you're going to get a great barbecue cookbook. Let me show you that here. I haven't really made a lot out of this book because, I don't know, when I got it, I think it might have wasn't summer, and then moving into summer, we've just had a lot of things going on. But when I've actually sat down with it and flicked through, I've noticed some great recipes that I should be doing. There's some nice breads. You've got some dips. I just realised I had all this mint in the garden that I must use up before, just giving it a good prune haircut And I saw this mint sauce, so I've marked that. That's happening this afternoon. I've marked my next dessert that I'm going to do, because I've made this out of another cookbook before, and that's the passion fruit. The other one's a lemon tart. Ooh, that looks good. So as you can see, this barbecue book isn't just all about meat. There's a number of sides. There's some salads and marinades. Really worth checking out, even the seafood. So you get this book, and you're getting a travel bag that's coming with your Thermomix this month purchase. So how cool is that? The package is valued at around 150, so there you go. So if you want to sing out, let me know if you're interested in learning more about it. I've also got a great incentive to get started in your Thermomix business. So if you can't afford the money to buy one, but you would like to actually invest some time, and particularly this year, which we're going more online with our business, then, you know, sing out, have a chat with me. Love to tell you more about that, because here I am 10 years later, and I don't even have to leave my home to be working. And people just love the Thermomix. They want to see more. We've just celebrated our 50th year for work with their Thermomix, and wow, what a journey, a great journey it's been. Still offering the most innovative kitchen appliance, multifunctional. It's just incredible. So if you haven't got one, you know, stop penalising yourself and just go through Zip. You know, you can pay it off 24 months interest free at the moment. So, you know, if you're thinking of getting a second one, it's really a good time. Just had a customer upgrade. She called me yesterday, and, you know, so excited. She's had her 31 for 10 years. She was my second customer, and she's also going to join the club and invest in a TM6. She's already excited. She's taken a peek around Cookie Doo and seen, you know, we've got 50,000 plus recipes to enjoy. So it's just knock yourself out. If you are making a New Year's resolution to get healthy and to spend less on takeaway and make more home prepared nutritious meals, then this is the answer. And if you want to save on so many of your items in the shopping trolley and know where they all come from, then this also is your answer. So can't speak more highly enough about my trusty little friend and business partner right here. So thanks for joining me. I hope it hasn't been too annoying back and forthy. I've got my slice, I've got my pesto I'm going to enjoy with my crackers that I made, and I'll have my bolognese and zucchini noodles coming soon. So, you know, I eat really well. Just saying. You will too, and are too if you've got a Thermomix. So have a great afternoon, have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.